Let's take a breath in through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Part the lips and at the mouth. Release for 3, 2, 1. And again, breathe in the nose. Hold. And breathe out the mouth. Relax. One more time. In the nose. Inflate the ribs, feel the belly expand. Pause. Part the lips and out your mouth. Exhale. Wiggle your toes, move your fingers, wrists and ankles. Legs together, arms overhead. And with the full breath in, reach, lengthen your body. And exhale, relax. Right knee to the chest, fingers over the right shin. Breathe in and pull the right leg closer to your body. So relax the hips, shoulders back. Don't forget to breathe. And then take your left hand on your right leg. We'll move the right knee towards the left. Your left hand will remain on top of the right thigh. So a gentle twist of the low back. Relax the hip, the piriformis muscle. Keep the breath consistent and smooth. So shifts of the torso as you breathe. Release. Lengthen the right leg, shift your hips a bit, center, and then we'll bring the left knee in, fingers over the left shin. Shoulders relax back, hips heavy, ease the left leg towards your body. And right hand on left leg, move your left leg across the body so the right hand will stay on top of your left thigh. Shoulders are back, head is on the floor, relax yourself. Relax the top leg, shift yourself to center, lengthen out, back in Shavasana. Extended breath. Bend the knees and put the feet on the ground. With your heels close to the glute muscles, right up by your hips, you can put your palms face down and press the heels to lift your hips up. So one line from the shoulders to the knees. Lengthen your low back. Three, 2, and one will come down nice and slow, vertebrae by vertebrae. When the hips are down, take the right heel up. Fingers move behind the leg. Press the low back, reach the heel. And you'll move the right ankle onto your left thigh. Right hand can press the right leg away. Maybe your left foot lifts up, fingers behind your left leg. Land your left foot down, land your right foot down. Next side. Lift your left leg up, your fingers behind your left thigh. Press the low back and reach the heel. And then move the left ankle onto the right thigh. Guide your left leg away. And lift the right foot, thread the needle, fingers behind right thigh or shin. And rock left and right. One foot down, then the other. Take one arm overhead. You'll just roll onto your side and take a moment in a fetal position. Bicep as a pillow, top hand on the ground. Just a check-in, aware of how you're feeling today, physically, energetically, emotionally, just what's happening in your life, your mood. Just to honor that throughout this next 50 minutes or so. So top hand on the floor, and you'll make your way up towards the table. Hands and knees. Open up your fingers really wide. And look up towards the ceiling, lift your tailbone up. And then bring your chin to chest, tuck the tailbone underneath, and look towards the waistline. Breathe in to look up towards the ceiling again. Create a U shape, your biceps forward. And exhale, round it in. Chin to chest, tuck your tail, round the upper back. One more, inhale, look back up towards the ceiling. And come back to neutral, tuck your toes underneath. Walk your hands back, lower the hips towards the heels. And just take a moment here to stretch out the soles of the feet, the calf muscles. You could use one hand at a time to be sure that the fourth or the pinky toe is tucked under. Maybe push the hands, lift the knees. Come back, bring the hands, the fingers interlace, move your hands around a bit, just lubricating your wrist to sockets. Still sitting on the toes, so the soles of the feet being stretched out. And then you can bring the hands back onto the mat in front, point your toes away, come back to a seat. Walk your hands back, sit back up. Fingertips would point forward, just a light lean back, little lift of the knees. And on the floor, back forward into a table, hands and knees. Open up your fingers really wide. Tuck your toes underneath. And then lift yourself up to a downward dog. Shoulders stay broad, biceps are forward. Knees bent, walk the feet up to the top of your mat. And hold opposite elbows. And lightly rock left and right. With your knees bent and your hands on your thighs, begin to rise yourself up, slow and steady. Shift yourself to a standing position. Pause there, take a full breath. Hands to prayer in front of your chest. Take an inhale. Interlace the fingers and send the hands towards the floor as you breathe out. Gaze to one knuckle. Inhale, the hands go forward for 5, 4, 3. Look up to the ceiling for 2. Stretch the front of the throat. Flip and out your mouth. Exhale for 5, 4, 3. Interlace the fingers. Send the hands down. A few more cycles. Breathe in. Flip and breathe out. Two more. And final breath cycle. Interlace the fingers and send the hands down to the floor. Then release your hands by your sides. Thumbs point away. We'll lift the ribs up. Broaden the shoulders. Relax the muscles in the front of the face. Take a full breath here. And we'll shift the weight to the right leg. Open up your left knee. Heel to ankle. Foot to the calf. Or up to the inner thigh. And hands at prayer. So you're lifting the ribs up, engaging the core, lengthening back of neck. And relax the muscles in the face. Three. 2. On 1, you'll move your left knee forward or lower and release the limbs. Shift the weight to the left leg, open up the right knee. Heel and ankle, maybe the right foot to the calf or up to the thigh. And you're lifting the ribs up, your palms at prayer. Breath in. Send the right knee forward and release the limbs. Bring the toes close together. Arms wide up overhead. Interlace the fingers, relax the shoulders down. Take a breath to reach. You'll lean towards the right as you exhale. And rise back up, breathe in. Lean towards your left. And then come back up. Bend the knees and bend the elbows to feel a stretch in the back of the limbs. And rise back up, breathe in. Again, lean right. Pause here. Feel expansion, maybe a bit more depth. Press back up. Breathe in, extend. Lean left as the hips go right. And make your way back upright. Release the arms wide, all the way down. And by the sides, shoulders lift up, back, and down. Let's move the arms up parallel to the floor. Open the feet about hip width. Bend the knees and lower the seat back and down. So you're keeping your thighs about parallel. Shoulders are back in their sockets and the seat is lowering. Breathe in. A bit more depth. One more cycle. We'll begin to straighten the legs. Lift your heels up and rise to your tiptoes. So we're keeping the arms long. We'll take a bend to your knees. Slowly sliding down, heels stay lifted. Come down until you feel your thighs start to work. And hold there. So heels are still up. One more breath. And we'll rise up, palms faced in, reach for the ceiling, inhale. And lower the heels, take the arms wide and down by your sides. Shoulders up, back, down. Bring the feet up to the top of your mat, feet about hip width. Hands onto your hips. Bend your knees, lengthen the spine, begin to hinge forward, maintaining a flat back. So inhales for length, exhales to hinge. Really feeling an active pull in the back of the thighs. Continuing to lift the ribs away from the pelvis. Three, 2. Take a breath in. Release the low back and fold to the floor. Fingertips on the mat. Maybe a little nod of the head up and down. Yes. You could hold opposite elbows if you like. Bringing the hands off the mat so that you're no longer absorbing weight in the fingertips, but all that weight is being used to pull on the back of your legs. And your hands on the floor, the knees can bend. Send your left foot back. Left knee down. Untuck left toes. Little wiggle of your hips. And you'll take the right hand onto the right thigh. Lift yourself up. And the right hand, or sorry, your left leg back, left arm up. Breathe in. Hips forward. You can look up, you can lift your sternum. Gently press the hips to feel more space in the front of your pelvis. And breathe. One more inhale. And your hand comes down to the floor. Open up the finger pads. Take your other hand to the ceiling. So left hand down, right arm up. Right hip is back, sternum forward, a twist. And 3 breaths. Let's take your hand down to the outside of the foot. Walk your hands back, maybe the hips lower down towards the heel. You can tiptoe your fingers forward, chin towards chest. Shift yourself back forward, push the back knee. Tuck your back toes, straighten back leg. Push the front foot, rise up. Engage your back leg, hands by your sides, lean in. Long breath. One more inhale. Hands come down to the floor, bend the back knee, move the back foot up to the top of your mat. Hands under your shins and lengthen, flat back. Fold forward as you breathe out. You can bend the knees, send the right foot back, knee down. Untuck the toes. A moment to wiggle the hips. You'll move your left hand on left leg, rise yourself up, the right arm towards the ceiling. Breath in, lift, hips forward. Breathe in. And right hand comes down to the mat, open the finger pads. Left hand to the ceiling. Look up and reach. Breathe in. Your hand comes back down towards the outside of the foot. Rock your hips back, fingertips walk back, hips lower towards heel. And then walk your hands back forward and round in. You can push the back knee, maybe use the hand for support, rise up. Tuck your back toes underneath. Straighten the back leg. Press the front foot to shift yourself up into a runner's lunge. Thumbs point away. Lean forward. Long breath. One more inhale. Hands come down to the floor. Bend the back knee and move the back foot up. So your feet are at the top of the mat. Move the hands on shins and lengthen spine. Then fold forward. Ragdoll, slow and steady, rise yourself up. Take your time. Once you've made your way to stand, bring the shoulders to the ears. Back and down. Arms to the ceiling, breathe in. You'll take the right arm underneath your left arm. Right arm under left arm, twist high elbows. Lower the seat down and lift the right leg up. Thigh up and over. Eagle. Lower the seat, lift the elbows and pull to feel broad in your upper back. 3, 2. You'll lift the top knee up. Feet on the floor, legs or arms go wide up to the ceiling. Breathe in, reach up, look up, and move to the next side. So left arm under right. Twist high the elbows. Lower the seat down and back. Then lift your left leg up. Thigh up and over. For 3, 2, and lift the top leg up, feet on the floor, arms go wide up to the ceiling, breathe in and reach up, look up, Then hands go wide, hands to the low back behind. You're going to lift the ribs up, send the hips forward, and lightly lean back. And back up. Let's bring the feet back, about hip width. Hands back on hips, knees bent. So second attempt here. Long spine, begin to hinge yourself forward. Nice and slow, taking your time for 3. Lift the ribs for 2. Take a breath in and fold to the floor on 1. And you'll send your left leg back, lower the left heel down. So the left foot is parallel to the back of your mat. You'll push the front foot, making your way up into Warrior 2. So if you want to use the right hand on the thigh to help, your left arm up and back, moving into Warrior 2. Take a full inhale, lift the ribs, and a bit of depth. You should still see the big toe of the front foot, the knee guided over the pinky toe of your front foot. Again, ribs are lifted, fingers reach broad in the upper back. Long breath. Your palms can open to face the side of your space. Take the front forearm down to the thigh. Back arm to the ceiling, look up, lift the top hip. Like you're pulling your feet closer, the inner thighs should feel engaged. Look up at the thumb. 3, 2. Take a full inhale. Look to the floor on 1. You'll press the front foot to shift yourself back up. Warrior 2, stay here, take a breath in. Full breath out. Rotate the front hand, reverse back. Your hand could go to the leg or the low back behind, and you're looking up to the palm as you bend the front knee. 1 more full inhale, reach. And back up into Warrior 2. Hands on hips. Straighten the front leg, pivot the toes inward. Bend the knees, lift the ribs up, and you'll hinge forward with a flat back. And fold when you're ready, hands to the floor. Knees bent, hands on thighs to rise yourself back up, and heel toe your feet back in. I'm going to face the opposite direction. We're doing the exact same sequence on the other side. So, hands back on hips, bend the knees, lift the ribs, and begin to hinge forward. 3, slow and steady, hinging forward for 2. And release the low back and fold yourself to the floor on 1. With the knees bent, you'll send the right leg back, but lower the heel down so the foot is parallel to the back of the mat. You could put your left hand on your thigh and then press the foot, rise up, make your way towards a Warrior 2. So reverse cartwheel up, Warrior 2. Breathe in and settle. Again, you're guiding the front knee open, front knee now pointed in the other direction. Fingers reach, broad upper back. Keep the ribs lifted, tailbone tucked. One more breath cycle. Your palms can open up. We'll take the front forearm down to the thigh, back arm to the ceiling. Pull the feet closer, lift the hip, and look up. 3 breaths. And look down to the floor, press the front foot, make your way up to Warrior 2. Pause here, take a breath cycle. Flip the front hand to face the ceiling. We'll dance it back. Press your hand on the leg or the low back. Keep the front knee bent and extend. Gaze at the palm. Take a long breath. And you'll shift yourself back up into Warrior 2. Hands can move back onto the hips. You'll straighten the front leg, pivot your toes inward. And your hands can move behind your back. Interlace the fingers behind you. Hands down, lift the heart up. Take an inhale, and then fold yourself forward. So hands to the ceiling, keep your chin lifted. And 3 breaths. And your hands low back, release your fingers with knees bent, hands on thighs, rise up to stand. And heel toe your feet in. Come to one side of the mat. We'll be shifting into balancing poses. Let's keep the hands onto your hips. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your front knee, lean your weight forward, and lift your back foot off the ground. So lengthen, hinge. Hands can move by your sides whenever you're ready. Three. 2. On 1, release this, bring the feet back together. Land. Give that little shake, walk your feet to the back of your mat. Hands back on hips. Next side. Left foot forward, bend the front knee, lean your weight in, lift your back heel up, take a breath in. And lean forward, lift your back foot. Hands can move by the sides when you're ready. Hinging at your hips. Here for 3. For 2. On 1, you'll move your back knee through. And you just land your foot back on the floor and give that a shake. Let's put the weight into the right leg. Lift your left knee up, put your left hand onto the knee. Right hand by your side. Breath in to lift. Guide the left leg open. Look to the right hand. So look back forward, bring the knee back forward, and you'll release the limbs. Next side, open the right knee, heel, ankle, foot, calf or thigh. And you're lifting the ribs, connecting your hands at prayer. I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming. My bad. And then release this pose. Let's give a dancer's pose. If you want to grab a chair or the wall, go for it. Just a bit of backup plan in case you tumble. Let's put the weight, let's go on the left foot, arms forward and up, and your hand back to capture the inside of the foot. So the knee for the floor, other hand for the ceiling. And maybe you'll kick down and back. 3, 2. And on 1, you'll take the knees back together. And release. Next side, other foot goes back. Arms forward and up. Left hand back, bend the knee, pick up the inside of the foot. Knee down, arm up, kick down and back. And 3 breaths. And then move the knees back together. Release and give that a shake. Grab some water if you'd like. And let's meet in hands and knees on the floor. So whenever you are ready, we'll come down to hands and knees. Okay, let's bring the knees right up behind your wrists. So knees come right up behind the wrists, your toes together, take a seat. Hands on thighs, come up. Hands on the mat behind. And lift your hips up, then lower. Maybe you're coming back, one elbow at a time. Again, hips up and down. Continue your way back, head and shoulders towards the floor. And come to your variation. About 5 breaths wherever you are. Hands under ankles. If you went all the way back, you're going to shift yourself back up to a seat. And then your hands will move on top of the mat in front. And you'll shift yourself to hands and knees. Let's push your hands and tuck your tail. Deep arch in the spine. Right shoulder, right hip together. Then left shoulder, left hip together. Back and forth a few times. And center, look up to the ceiling. You can tuck your toes underneath. Lift your hips up, downward dog. Come up to high plank. You can lower the knees if you like. And really slowly bend the elbows and take your time making your way towards the mat. And once the ribs are down, point your toes away. Engage your thighs. Lift your ribs up using your back muscles. Hold. And lower back down. Pause. Again, thighs engaged, lift up. Maybe hands and elbows up. Hold. And lower down. And third time. Ribs up, hands up, elbows up, thighs are strong. Hold this, back body engaged. Take a breath in. And lower yourself down. Look towards the right. Left ear on the mat. Hands back by your sides. Rest. Breathe deeply. Just for balance in the back of the neck, lift the head, look the other way. Chin hook on the mat, hands face down, press the knees, lift the hips, push your hands and rise yourself up. Tabletop, and then open the knees up and send your hips back to a child's pose. Elbows down, forehead down. Relax and breathe. Walk your hands to the right side of the mat. Left hand on top of right wrist. Press your left hip back. And center your hands. Walk the hands in the other direction. Right hand on top and press the hip back. Breathe. And center. Walk your hands back. We'll come upright on the knees. So knees about hip width, hands can walk up your thighs. Rise yourself to stand upright on the knees. Take a breath. Hands low back. Look up, lift the ribs up, send your hips forward. You could tuck your toes underneath. Maybe one hand to a heel, then the other hand to the heel. Hips are forward, sternum lifted, you're looking at the roof. 3, 2. And on one, a hand, low back, rise up. Come back to a seat, hips back to heels. Be sure your pinky toes are tucked under as well. About 5 breaths here, feeling the pull on the soles of the feet, calf muscles. Hands on the floor in front. Cross your ankles. You'll come back to a seat, legs out in front of you. Adjust your hips if you need to. So legs are long, out in front. Reach for the ceiling. Take a breath in. And you'll fold over your thighs, right down on the legs. Maybe hands grab the heels or hands fall on the ankles or shins. So to walk the hands back, bring yourself back up. Let's take your right leg outside of the mat, left foot, inner thigh. Take your right hand down, left arm up. It's called seated side angle. Maybe the top hand goes behind the head and you're lifting your elbow, looking to the ceiling. And come back up. Switch the legs. So your hand or elbow down. Reach up for the ceiling. Look up. And lean towards long leg, maybe hand behind head. Three, two, and on one release, rise yourself back up. And we'll bring the heels together in front of the pelvis. Bring the feet nice and close to your hips. With hands on ankles, you'll lift the ribs up. Take an inhale. And then fold over the feet, maybe walk the hands forward. Five breaths. Hands come back. Hands on knees. Close the legs. Give the legs a hug. Chin to chest. Lean back. And hands on the floor. Scoot the seat up. And you'll lay onto your back. Let's bend the knees and put the feet on the ground. Right thigh up and over the left thigh. Lift the feet. We'll send your legs left. Left hand on top. Look to the right hand. and breathe. And look up, legs up, unbind the legs, and move your way to the next side. Other leg up and over, shift the hips as you need to. And find your spinal twist in the other direction. And look up, legs up, unbind, feet on the floor, adjust the hips, open the knees up, relaxing the front of the pelvis. Soften, take a breath. Knees up and lengthen legs. And relax your body. And you're more than welcome to embrace the meditation. Thank you all for coming today. Have a great evening ahead. Namaste.